Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975. Be advised the notice of this meeting was made by posting on the bulletin board, town hall, and sending to the officially designated newspaper a list of meeting dates annually indicating that a meeting would take place at the community center at 7 p.m. on this date. The fire exits are located in the far right corner in the back and to my immediate left in the front. Will you all please stand for the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item of business is the approval of minutes from our May 28th, 2024 meeting. All of you received a copy. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Christina Scalzo makes the motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. At this moment, we don't have any correspondence. However, we do have public. We welcome you all to our meeting. Thank you all for being here. We are at the public portion of our meeting, so what we ask is feel free to come up to the mic, state your name and address for the record, and you go on, say what you want. After you guys have completed, everyone's got a chance to speak that want to speak. We'll close the meeting so the public committee can have discussion, and then we'll open it back up should you have any further questions about stuff that we will discuss. And then obviously we have other business we all have to take, go into. You're more than welcome to stay for that portion as well. So with that being said, I'd like to open the meeting to the public.
Is this thing on?
Yep.
I hate the microphone. Let's turn a little bit. Okay. Is it on?
We can shut it.
Yeah, maybe. Tap it. See if it like, maybe.
I heard something.
Did you? I hate
No, maybe not.
It's working out, right? Hello, my name is Kim Rose. I live at 77 Long Place in Borough. And before I start, I'm just going to pass a few pictures around that you guys can just look at my presentation. Good evening, Director, committee members, and residents here tonight. I am here to speak of a program the borough had for many years and ended for unknown reasons, and a plea for it to be revived. The program was the Summer Park and Recreation Program. Now, before I go on, you may be wondering why me, a resident who has grown children, no number of children at home, is seeking out to return to this program. It's simple. I'm a resident who cares about the community and residents. Some of my past and present community involvements include serving as a home school co-president for 4 years, corresponding secretary before that. Then I went on to serving as a fundraising chair for the high school music program. I served on the Scholastic Book Fair's Customer Advisory Board representing the Mid-Atlantic states, and currently I've been serving on the Land Use Board since 2015. Another little thing about me, I was a skating instructor for 30 years. I taught figure skating and power skating to young hockey players. Just let you might know that. So advocating for this program is a no-brainer for me. I have lived in this town since the early 1980s, and over the years I've seen changes, some good and some not so good. And the demise of this program is one that is not so good. The Summer Park program was a well-run and popular program that many of our young residents enjoyed in the summer. This program ended sometime around 2016 or maybe later for some reasons that I don't know. And I believe when I spoke at the council meeting I said 2013, but I think I was wrong at that point too. Many borough parents of children born around 2015 and 2016 may not even realize we had this great program years back. My recollection of the summer program was it consisted of 2 sessions per day. A morning session at the Maple Avenue playground from 9 to 12, and then an afternoon session at Park Lake from about 1 to 3. A camper could participate in the morning session, the afternoon session, or both. The morning session had the playground, games, crafts, and sports. The afternoon at the lake was just that. It was an afternoon at the lake, and you can also take swim lessons if you wanted to. There were day trips offered, although I can't remember the frequency. I do believe it was either once a week or every other week. Things like bowling, ice skating, outing to a water park, the movies, and others. I do remember that there was a weekly walk with the counselor to Bob's Kid Caboodle, and that was a favorite among the kids. They could go and buy treats, ice cream, and candy. There was no crossing roads to go there, just go right down the street, and they hung right, and there it was. These programs were well attended. They were well attended. All the surrounding towns, such as Denville, Rockaway Township, Dover, Boonton, and Wharton is about the same size as us, 2 square miles with maybe 1,000, population of 1,000, way more than us. They all have summer programs in place. As I did my research, I printed out all these towns' summer programs. I also had the pleasure of speaking with a couple of the recreation directors of these towns as well, and they were all very receptive to my questions. Some things that were interesting to note. I don't know how they do it, but Wharton offers the camp for free. Wharton actually has free breakfast through the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Now, I know we can't afford to offer it for free, but that was just something I thought was interesting. Rockaway Township currently charges $55 for their entire 6 weeks, and I believe their program goes from 9 to 12. They have a very successful program, but I believe they're gonna be increasing their fee structure next year. I don't know why Rockaway Borough's summer program ended, but it is time to look for a revival. We need this program to come back to assist our families and our young residents. Not to mention give a little bit of relief for parents who are at home in the summer, pulling their hair out since school is out and the kids have nothing to do. There are many borough families who simply cannot afford to send their children to expensive summer camps, and yes, they are expensive. I myself could not afford to send my kids to those expensive camps. And my children enjoyed the summer rec program. When they got older, they took a certified lifeguard course and earned money as Park Lake lifeguards for many summers. My daughter went on to become a head lifeguard for a few years and came back from college in the summer and worked at the lake. The borough's program was a godsend, and our residents need this program to come back. I was told by a former part-time recreation director for the borough that the summer program was very successful, and they have no inkling as to why it would have ended. I am aware of a private program, Borough Kids, which is run by a private person for profit. However, I have found in my research that it has a small threshold number of participants, and many of our residents cannot get into this program. But this is a town issue. We should have a summer park program. Perhaps you could do a survey. I am sure the response will be extremely positive. You could put it in the newsletter. I don't know what happened to the June newsletter, but it's not up there. Which brings me to the subject of Park Lake. What a beautiful playground you guys put up. I acknowledge that was great. Kids love it. But what happened this year? There's no fencing up, no raft, no swim area. They say there's lifeguards, but I haven't seen them. I hear it's open, but you wouldn't know it. Every year we see the raft and the swim area prepared, but not this year, and I live right near the lake, so I can tell you that's true. It's pitiful, it's uninviting, and it seems as though the town does not really want it to work, and it has been one of those things that's gone quietly into the night. We need a new raft, new swim area floats, and a new fence. Perhaps some nice colorful flags, welcoming flags along the beach. Play some music. There are many families who would go to the lake if it looked like it was open and a nice place to go, but it's not, and they don't. We have let it fall by the wayside. Both of these, the lack of a summer park program and the summer condition of Park Lake, are a tremendous disservice to the residents and community of the Rockaway Borough. As I implored at the council meeting to the mayor and council members, and now to the recreation director and the committee, respectfully, please revive this program for next year. Our residents deserve it. I know there are regulations to follow. I know there are costs involved. I know it's going to take some thought and consideration. But what makes us so special that we can't do it and all the other towns can? I'm almost done. One more thing. I propose a 4-pronged feasibility study. The first one is to do a survey. Conduct a survey of the residents, see if there's interest, see if there's interest in the morning or the afternoon, get a wish list, and anything else you want to put on the survey, go for it. 2, research and collaborate. Do some fact finding with our neighboring towns, the township, Dover, Denville, Wharton, Boonton, about their summer programs. Invite the surrounding area rec directions to have a roundtable discussion about their summer programs. If you offer light breakfast or lunch, I think you get you to come. Perhaps discussions about what works and doesn't for other towns. A pro and con discussion on what improvements and or changes in their own programs would they like if they had a wish list. What are their costs involved and their funding, either through yearly budgeting and participant fees? What are the required regulations? There are so many pieces of information that can be had by collaborating with our neighbors. Gathering this information would be an important part of the process. 3, cost and budgeting. Obviously, this should not be a free program. There should be a fee involved that is a reasonable one for our residents. However, it should not be seen as a money-making deal, but it's not for anybody, I know that. Nor should we be in the red to run this program. A break-even deal is more like it. We need to make sure funds are allocated in the budget process. Here's one. How about using the new tax revenue we are receiving from the cannabis dispensaries? This would be an excellent use of this new stream of revenue for our residents, and I understand we're making some good money. 4, structuring the program. A morning program only, or a morning and afternoon? Maybe we should just start by just doing a morning program and see how it goes. Maybe it's 5 to 6 weeks. Facilities. Location of the program. We use Maple Avenue Park, Park Lake, perhaps a morning program can utilize a school building. And finally, at the end of the day, we just want this program to be brought back in some form or another. If other towns have a program, so can Rockaway Borough. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public who would like to speak?
Hi, good evening, Wendy Newtown, 151 Mount Pleasant Avenue, and Angela Newtown. And Kim did a great job, we're here to support everything that she just said. And my thought is, instead of finding so many reasons why we can't do this, why not try to find reasons why we can and work at coming up with a plan to see how that all goes. And we know we have a lot of supportive parents, and I know it's a really bad vacation week. A lot of people wanted to come, and they're happy we're speaking on their behalf. So there is a lot of interest in resuming this program, and I just want to credit Rob. I know if anybody can do it, Rob can do it. And I've spoken to other rec directors and about some of our conversation. We don't need a full-time nurse. CPR certified is fine. We do need active shooter, but the police would work with that. And the director said it's not easy. You know, they agree it can be costly, but if we can get the money from resources such as the kind of Cush and the other, revenues, it would help maybe to offset it. And it's something wonderful for our kids. And also, being a realtor, former realtor, I know that helps homesteads. People come into town, young families, how are the schools? What does the town offer? So it's a win-win situation, and it'll get our children off the streets. I mean, it's great, they're riding their bikes, but that's gotta get boring after a while, and it's nice to have something to do in between. They come to this in the morning, they go swimming in the afternoon, they ride their bikes. It's a nice, fulfilling day. And maybe we can add to the program, as Kim was saying. We start off simple, 9 to 12. And then, see how that all melts. I spoke to Tracy, she's the rec director of Booton, and she told me they do it from 9 to 2, and they're very, very successfl. And the children bring their own lunches. They do have some kind of celebrations where they'll make hot dogs and marshmallows and, bring in pizzas and things like that. But on the whole, they don't need to have, food coming in. They bring their own lunches, and they also I asked about peanut allergies. How do you deal with, kids that have allergies? They have, just like the schools do, they have them on separate tables. Anything medical, any children that have medical issues, the parents need to give medications before they come. There really aren't, we did talk about if there was a child with special needs. Rob had mentioned that to me, and I mentioned it to Tracy. And she said, as of now, they don't have that. But if they needed to, of course, they would supply it. But they felt that most parents that have special needs children will not come to a camp, you know, if they have, there's a special camp that would be more beneficial for those children. But basically, they do the same thing. If it happens, we'll deal with it when it happens. But I really feel it could be a success, and it's worth a try. And we're a great town, you know, we get incredible community volunteers. People are saying, oh, I'll help, I'll donate things. We'll donate, you know, bats and balls and jacks and those, I remember growing up, we used to feed those little pot holders. I mean, there's such great memories I have growing up. I had 40th Street Park right up the street from me, and I used to walk over, and it was just a great experience that, you know, is nice for children to experience. And the older ones can get paid, or 8th graders can become CITs, which can also give them lots of experience, a resume to go on to a different type of job. And I also gave some thought to rules and regulations. I know my children personally are in the Lakeland Y. We have a list of rules and regulations to start before you even sign up. So, you know, we can go around and get information from other towns and you know, figure that out. And I had another thought. Instead of employing the parents to have a whole summer, to have to pay for a whole summer, maybe we could do weekly or bi-weekly. Lakeland Y, you purchase 2 weeks at a time. This way, if parents are going away for 3 weeks, you know, they don't feel like, oh, we're paying for the whole summer and we're gone for 3 weeks. But I just think it'll be favorable, and you are the person to do this.
No pressure, right?
Thank you. Do you need anything to say?
Yeah. I think like in this town, we have to prioritize itself. I think what the town might say is like, well, the funds, the money itself. I mean, that's gonna be a big issue right there. But I really look at prioritizing itself as town. We're looking at things like, is this town growing in population? Because Wharton is growing, they're putting up buildings, their population's growing. I don't see massive growing in this town, so I can see they can expand. But in this town, we should be using the words replacing, not expanding. I mean, Wharton has 13, 14 employees itself, or like DPW. They have their own garbage. So I'm just trying to say how to trim down itself, how we can save money, make money. You take the DPW garage over there, $400,000 there. I mean, you have what, 3 garages? Wharton has 3 garages.
No, listen, and
No,
it's
I'm
just
just-
not recreation related, like I have no
I'm
control over it.
just pointing this out so the public can know where our money is going. We just bought a new truck, the town. Are we expanding or we're replacing? So far, I didn't see that truck leave the facility itself. So to me, the garage is called expanding, the truck is called expanding. It should be replacing. Wharton, they have their own garbage trucks. That means their own DPW employees are doing their own garbage. We sub it out. So I'm here like to say we need to save money. We need to trim down. So to me, that's a big thing itself. The population, you can see Wharton, they're actually growing. They're putting buildings. That's more tax money coming in. We're spending more tax. We're spending more money, I'm saying, and we're not growing. So that's my input.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Sarah Lane at 8 Birchwood Road. I am a full-time teacher, and I have a 4 and a 6-year-old. I am just here to support the summer camp. The idea of it does not need to be the whole summer. I just would love something, say from 9 to 12, to go and run and do errands without dragging my children, and so that they could be with their peers. Also, since I don't work during the summer, I don't feel okay sending my kid to an all-day summer camp for 3 weeks straight. I also would like to volunteer to help. I'm a great with resources. I also work for the rec of Jefferson. I'm very good friends with the person who runs the camp over there too, so I'm happy to help with any kind of resources that you may need. And I think, I love our town, and I think that this would be like the icing on a cake, because I really think that we could do it, we could work together as a team, and the children would benefit it, and so would the parents, and so would our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public?
Hello, Kitty Clark, 66 West Flag Street. I'm not here to talk about the camp, but I agree with what everyone else here said. I think it's a really great idea. I had a question about the bathrooms at Memorial Park. Is there question time, or is it just making sense?
You can make your statement and then we can.
Oh, okay. We go there, obviously, it's a park in town, it's the Blue Park. I've got 2 kids, one's 9, one's 4. The 4-year-old is still potty training. I know that's a little bit too much information, but anyway, we go into the bathroom and we open up the door and I'm like, why is it so dirty in here? Now it wasn't dirty, it was just unfinished. Like, it's unfinished, right? There's a handprint in paint on one of the walls. Some of them are like, what are they, grease blocks, I guess? And they're grey on the outside, but they're red on the outside. I was wondering if there's any money in the budget or any plans to just give them a lick of paint. Both of those. And then another bathroom comment. Are there any bathrooms at Donatoni, like actually installed with an actual toilet?
There's a portage on it.
Are there any plans to put in a bathroom?
Use the museum bathroom we used to use back in the day. I don't know if they still do that during games.
Right. During games, yeah.
And what's in the snack shed bit? It's quite a big building. I'm just surprised that that field doesn't have any bathrooms. Again, my 4-year-old had a bathroom issue a few weeks ago when we were at one of the Rowdies games, and there were a lot more kids there. Like, the playground was full of children, and there's the one portage on, and it was a number 2. So wasn't great. So if there's anything that you can do now this year, going into next year and thinking about the budget, I think it's something to seriously consider. We have a lot of people going to that field on a regular basis for a variety of sports. That's it for now. Thank you. Oh, actually, were you involved in, or as a recreation department, responsible for Rockaway Day or Celebrate Rockaway? Was there any sort of partnership at all? No?
We'll talk, but that's part of our agenda, I believe, tonight. So we'll
Okay.
talk.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Hearing none, we close the meeting to the public. Thank you all for your comments. Lot to take in, lot to digest. So, just so you know, my experience, 30 years, have been in rec, finance, and management. So I have a pretty good insight on what's going on and how things are supposed to be run. I've worked in other towns. I've been in both public and private sector, so I understand. I'm also a parent. So I'm a parent of two boys. I get it. They've grown up here. I've lived here. Everyone on this committee here is here because they're dedicated to the children of this town. They wouldn't be sitting here if they weren't. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that. I mean, we have teachers here. We have the greatest group of individuals, not only have participated in that program, but actually ran that summer program. So they're going to be able to speak to their experiences and exactly what it was all about, more so than I can. What I can say is this. When I started, I saw a lot of things. I saw a lot of things from a rec perspective. I saw a lot of things from a financial perspective. And things weren't good. Things weren't good. That camp was losing tens of thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands of dollars. Not to mention it wasn't meeting any sort of requirements or codes or anything. It shouldn't have been run the last few years. Now, those codes really updated in about 2015, if I'm right, Mildred, I think was the last upgrade.
Officially on the books, yes, there is a new proposal for 2024.
Right, so, and that's the other thing. And I know someone brought up rec directors and so forth and so on. I guess let me get to that second. Let me take a step back. So 2016 comes and I'm looking at what we're doing, and if you don't mind, I have something to show you. So behind you on that screen, that's what Hetty Park looked like the last day summer camp was run. That's what Hetty Park looked like in 2016, 2017. The summer program, and I'm gonna go on, the summer program was taking funds away from every single facility we had in this town. And everything was falling apart. Next, the fencing around this basketball court at Hetty Park was in complete shambles. The basketball court was deemed unsafe by our insurance company because it had loose gravel on it. All this was happening around the same time. This was Friendship Field. Nothing was being maintained, absolutely nothing, because all of the money was good. That is still Friendship Field. It's almost hard to believe. That's 6 years ago, 7 years ago. These places were not being maintained. This is the docks at Park Lake that our kids were using. They were bent. They were unsafe. If you can see those trip hazards, for those of you understanding kids' safety, those are trip hazards right there. Deemed unsafe by our insurance company. These things were happening, and this is just an example, and that's the last one. This is just an example of what was happening because the summer camp program was taking everything, all the stuff they couldn't support. This is what was being damaged. All of our facilities, you see our facilities now, they don't look like this.
Doesn't our taxes pay for it? Like we put money in from our taxes to pay for this stuff?
I'm getting it. So, if anything, the municipal budget, and we're not going into school, we're not going into, that's completely different. Rockaway Borough municipal budget is approximately $10 million, right, for the year, $10 million. Does anyone have a guess what the recreation portion of that budget is? Take a wild guess. How much?
I said not 10 million.
Not 10
Not
million.
even a million, no.
Not even a million.
Like 250,000?
250, anybody else? $48,000.
Oh, gosh.
$48,000. $48,000 somehow,
Include salaries?
that does not include salaries.
No, I thought so.
$48,000, which goes towards, half of that goes to supporting our sports programs, so our kids can play sports. Part of it goes to Spooktacular. Part of it goes to National Night Out for our giveaways. Part of it goes to insurance for, Porta-Johns. Part of it goes to licensing, so we are allowed to play music out in public. Part of it goes to, we just did something we're gonna talk about tonight, a car drove into a shed down at Don Antonio. I had to replace that. Tree fell on the fence, comes out of the rec budget.
Their insurance for that?
Our deductible is $2,500. And we actually have one of the lowest deductibles in the county. So you don't want to make an insurance claim on everything that's about $2,500. That's kind of where we're at. So I believe this committee, and I give this committee a lot of credit, we do a lot with a little, a lot. And I get it. You know, the mayor and council have a very difficult job, right? So they're legally obligated, unless it's an emergency situation, they have to keep your tax under 2%. And they do a very good job. They have every year since I've been here. So this year was 1.8. So when I did the math, at 1.8, if you add $60,000 to that budget, this year's budget, you added $60,000, your tax number would be 2.8%. That's how much it affects the budget. So at budget time, what the mayor and council have to deal with is they have to say, all right, the police come to them, they're required by state to have body cameras. All right, we gotta pay for body cameras. The fire department, their turnout gear, it's old, they have to be safe in a fire. Rob, Rob comes in there and says, I need $60,000 for a 6-week program. They have to choose one of those. What do they do? What do they do? So it's like, and I understand that position, and it's not that, I think it's, every department has kept their budget flat, because we have to keep the budget flat, because that 1.8% is for the unaccountable things. And government works the same as we're all dealing with in life, groceries and everything else. Insurance goes way up. So that 1.8% is there for that. It's not like the police department budget's going through the roof or DPW, everything's the same. We are flat every single year. That 1.8% is for everything else. Everything else, projects and keeping your water line safe and everything else. So that's just the money aspect. Just give us 1 second, if you don't mind. So with that being said, and I hope you kind of gave you a rough idea of that situation. Someone mentioned rec director, so we do talk to rec directors. We all talk quite often. I can tell you that Rockaway Township has a program. It's a 6-week program. Rockaway, Dover, Wharton, and Denver. They all have one thing in common. They are run out of school. All their programs are run out of school. Rockaway Township charges $55 worth of 9 to 12 program for 6 weeks. Rockaway Township the town budgets $80,000 for salaries. $80,000 that comes out of the Rockaway Township municipal budget. That's where the money's coming. So when you say Wharton's free, Wharton's picking up that tab. The taxpayers are picking up that tab. So when we look at things as a committee, and as a town, we should too, we discuss activities and things that can benefit the most amount of people for the most of the time, get the biggest bang for its buck, right? Spectacular. Everyone can attend, from babies to adults. Playgrounds, anyone can play in a playground, right? So we make our playgrounds nice, we make our facilities nice. So we look at things that can affect. It's hard, given the financial situation the borough is in, to justify at this moment in time a 6-week program for 3 hours a day. That's 90 hours of entire year. So let me just leave it at that. I'm not against it. We all miss those times. I miss the days when my kids could go to school and there wasn't police officers. I mean, the world it's so different. There was a time, and I know some people in this audience can comment, where you could skate at Park Lake by somebody either from the borough or township simply putting up a red flag or a green flag. Those days will never happen again. The regulations behind ice skating it's unbelievable. So things have changed so dramatically, and it's.
Can I ask, what are the regulations for that?
There has to be multiple drilling holes. It can't go above, the temperature can't go above 40 degrees in any given day. First of all, you notice Park Lake probably hasn't frozen where it should in many, many years. The water's moving too fast. It's not as cold as it was. There's several reasons. But we did research it with township. We went into it. That's beside the point. Again, things that aren't the same that it was. As far as regulations and childcare and summer camps and stuff, I'm going to turn it over to my committee, who can kind of guide you a little bit more on their knowledge and their expertise on this particular subject. If you don't, Mildred, go ahead.
So again, my name is Mildred. I've been on the committee for, I think, since 2014, probably close to 10 years now. I do also work in childcare. I've been in the childcare field for 25 years. I work as a director, so I have a very vast knowledge of the childcare standards, which overlap a lot with the youth camp safety standards. I know it was mentioned that Boonton doesn't have a health director. Wharton said it's not necessary. The standards were put into place in 2015. As of 2024, there is a proposal that these standards would apply to municipal camps.
Now, let me just, if you don't mind,
Sure.
I do want to mention, so what happened this year, 2024, what happened is the state tried to come in, this was filed January 26, 2024. The state tried to come in and force every camp in New Jersey under these new guidelines that are just unbelievable. State police, fingerprinting, every rec director in the state of New Jersey went together, came together, and we pleaded. We had a survey, we sent everything, said no camp in New Jersey will run this year, because they tried to plop this on everybody in like March. And no one could afford it. No one could afford these changes. No one could do anything, and we pleaded with the state. Every rec director got together and pleaded with the state. We want it. They said, you know what? You're right. There's no way you can implement this in time for your summer program. But this is going to happen in 2025.
Can I get a copy of that?
Sure, I'll email it to you.
Thank you.
So just a few points, and I've been doing my research, these are just a few things of note. A health director is required on site. That person has to either be a physician, RN or LPN, or an EMT, full-time. The camp has to provide nutritious meals to meet the dietary needs of all campers. So I know you mentioned peanut allergies, it would be the camp's responsibility to provide those accommodations. There's a specific number of children to bathroom ratio. So I know there was a concern about the bathrooms. We do not have enough bathrooms to meet that requirement. Just in relation to Park Lake, it says in these standards, actually in the old standards from 2015, that it's up to the camp staff to keep all animals out of the bathing area. And the most notable issue that is an issue for our program is you have to have a building or structure for weather, for active shooting, and for lockdown procedures. That is not negotiable. So just based on what I've been reading, what the program would need to be in compliance, in addition, I'm sorry, like Rob mentioned, you would also need money for extensive background checks, fingerprinting. I think fingerprinting is close to $100 per staff member. And everybody, according to these guidelines, would have to be CPR and first aid trained, which is also a tremendous expense. Just based on these, the cost to be in compliance would be tremendous. And it would have to trickle down to the families and what we charge for the program. Now, on the flip side of that, I was also a parent, well, I am a parent, whose children went to the program for many, many years. I also worked the program for 2 years. And the last year,
What are you doing now?
I'm gonna get to that in a minute. It's in my notes, hold on. I also, the last summer the program was in existence with the help of Christina, we took over the program when Rob's predecessor basically abandoned it. So we could speak a little more to the specific issues. I'm gonna list a few and then I invite you to please join in. The biggest issue is you cannot have just kids watching kids. It's not safe. You have, if your program is open to 13-year-olds and then you have a 14-year-old who's in charge of those kids, it's not feasible, it's not safe. We face a tremendous amount of behavior and discipline issues. Bullying, aggressive behavior, racist remarks, inappropriate use of technology, and assault, basically. My daughter, particularly, even before I was in the program, was assaulted at the park program because there were kids watching kids who didn't know how to handle the situation. We received tremendous amount of pushback from parents when we tried to address these issues. I know it was mentioned about having rules, regulations, and a code of conduct. We did. I spent hours of my own time writing those rules and regulations and a code of conduct because we didn't have it. A big part of the reason I was hired for the program is because I went to the mayor and council after my first summer working at the beach and I saw these issues and said, hey, listen, these are the things we need to do, and I was hired to put some of those into effect. So we did have that. I just want to also touch on quickly a couple points that some of you guys made. There are full-time lifeguards at the beach. I can personally guarantee that because my daughter is one of them. And not to speak for another committee member, but Rosalie's daughter is also one, and Christina's daughter is the head lifeguard. So the lake has been open every single day since the last week of June, I believe. So they are there every single day. So the lake is open, the beach is available for anybody who would like to use it. From a committee standpoint, we do put a lot of effort and money into Parks Lake. It's on the agenda tonight, Park Lake updates. I'm pretty sure Park Lake is on the agenda every single meeting that we have. Just a couple of things that were mentioned. As far as just dispensing medication to children, staff has to be trained in that, so that would be an additional cost. Special needs is a fuzzy area because it does fall under the American with Disabilities Act. So if a child does register and has special needs, we are required by federal law to provide accommodations for that child to keep them safe. That's not an option. When we had the program, we offered crafts and projects and things like that. Kids today are not kids they were years ago. The kids today are not the kids that went to the program when my 20-year-old went to the program. They don't wanna sit there and do crafts. They don't wanna, and listen, I work in preschool. I was a preschool teacher for 20 years. I love nothing more than giving paint and making pot holders and all of those things you mentioned. Kids today don't wanna do that. And again, back to the technology thing, that was a huge issue we faced. All these children wanted to do was sit on their phones. And they were doing a lot of inappropriate things with them. The one other thing that I think you mentioned was about offering just weeks at a time instead of the full summer. That poses a lot of issue for staffing and scheduling. And then again, just with having kids watching kids, it's not a good idea. You need adults, and I can tell you from personal experience, like I said, I run a preschool, I interview adults every single day. We cannot afford to pay an adult what they would want to be paid to work a program like this. So that was all I had from my background and my experience with the program.
Is there a reason why the raft and the rope isn't out at the park, so it looks more inviting?
That I can't answer.
I was just wondering, if people probably don't think it's open because of that, I think.
Yeah, after we finish the conversation.
So to basically follow up from what Mildred just said, my name is Christina Scalzo. I too have been involved with the rec committee for probably well over 10 years. I'm also involved with various sports in the area and in town. Yes, we kind of put the nail in the coffin for the program, and it's for all the reasons that Mildred just stated. It just wasn't worth it for our children. It wasn't worth it for us being adults. It wasn't worth it for the kids that were coming to work. And listen, when I talked to my kids and said there was gonna be a meeting tonight talking about the summer program, they loved the summer program. But what they didn't like was the negative aspect of it. You know, a lot of your kids didn't have phones, they didn't have cell phones. You see what's happened nowadays with technology. It's a problem in the schools, it's a problem with adults. Everybody wants to video everything. You might not be okay with your kid videoing somebody, or your kid being videoed by somebody else, and then they post it on social media. It happens in the schools all the time. So we know what the program used to be like, because we love seeing those pictures that were posted. Like, it made my heart smile. And I wish we could go back in time and have a program like that. I went to a summer rec program and did those same things, and we talk about it in all of our meetings, how we've lost our sense of community. We don't have a lot of the activities that we used to have. Did you know we used to have, a couple of times we had a bonfire on the beach, and we would have our summer kickoff party. There's so many things that we used to do. The business owners used to do the Rockaway Day on Jackson Avenue, close the street. There's a lot of things that COVID kind of, put the kibosh on it. And as far as volunteers and parents, these people at this table are the same faces you will see in so many different aspects of this community when it comes to volunteering. There are not as many volunteers as people say that there are. There are not. I'm sorry. Running a program, we've gotten a great influx of volunteers recently. It's been wonderful. We've had a lot of parents step up, realize that we all need to come together as a community. To get the program underway, the geese are a problem at the lake. I had a confrontation, the cops had to come because people want to bring their dogs on the beach. There's a lot more things that go on than what you might drive by and see, or you might look out your window if you live by the lake and say, oh, I don't understand. There's a lot that goes on, more than, and we're all aware of it. I drive by, if I see something, I'm the annoying citizen that's calling the non-emergency for the police to report something I see at a park. Cars parked after 10 o'clock, this and that. So we all are on your side with wanting better things for our kids coming up. Our kids are all older. Some of them are up and coming, and they're gonna be like Mildred and myself, 20-year-olds. We have good kids that wanna help and wanna bring back a program like that. But it's always so much easier to shout and say, this is what we want, this is what we want, but it's, as you can see, it's not as easy.
Can I say something? First of all, we weren't gonna do the lake. We figured we'd just keep it initially to
Just
the.
There's nowhere to put a kid. If you are, Sarah spoke and said she wants to be able to run errands. There's a forecast of lightning and thunderstorms. You choose to bring your kid to the park. Where at Memorial Park would we put children? We did have a snack stand that we could have crammed kids in there, but that's not ideal. The heat that we have nowadays, making sure kids are hydrated, making sure kids are safe, making sure kids have sunscreen on. Because if your kid gets sunburned, guess who's getting screamed at? Mildred and I. Or the 8th grader that you're saying should be watching over the 7-year-old. That's not the way it is. Parents have also evolved. Not just the children, but parents have evolved. They've become something else. And it's very difficult to reason with certain people.
Can I
So,
just ask one question?
sure.
We're Rockaway Borough.
Yes.
Every town is doing this. Every single town.
Rob
Why
mentioned that
can't
with the
we
tax.
do it?
But Rob pointed that out, it's a tremendous cost to the town.
But
That's
they-
the
They
issue.
had this
How
movie.
many schools does Rockaway Township have?
Oh,
Elementary schools.
Offhand.
How many
Five.
elementary
Like
schools do we have?
Wharton is a small town,
How many
Wheaton is
elementary
small.
schools do they have?
That, I don't know, I can find.
So
out
that's
the
where-
Why
information.
couldn't we use one of our schools?
Yeah.
It's not that we wouldn't
So
be
let me-
able
Let me
to.
stop, everybody.
Sorry.
So it's okay, it's okay. So the issues, so these towns are using schools, like I mentioned. What's currently going on at our schools, our 2 schools that we have, is in the summer at TJ, it's called ESY.
The extended school year, I understand.
Yes, so
It's over this
That-
Friday.
that knocks that out right there.
They take up the whole school, what are the hours?
There's a reason, I'm sure there's a
Morning.
reason the other summer program that's in the school, that's not, that summer program that is being run for that
8:30 to 12.
school is giving money to the Rockaway Borough Education Foundation. They are not, this for-profit thing, they are not private. Anyone in Rockaway Borough is welcome to join that program. So they are running out of Lincoln. So that's where they have a building, they have a shelter, et cetera, et cetera. I can tell you that Denville uses Valley View. Wharton has a recreation center that they're able to use at, what is that field called? Robert Street. And like I said, Rockaway Township has, Stony Brook.
Is there a way that we could work with the township to open up their camp for us? I mean, I know they wouldn't do it for you guys for swimming either, so it's probably a big no.
Yeah, it's
But
worth it.
no, I'm just saying, like, the partner, I mean, I don't know.
I'll just say this, the geese is a ginormous problem, and a lot of you know me,
Yeah.
or have heard me or read me, on social media. The geese have always been a problem, but not like this. And we have tried every possible way of getting rid of those things. Not all of them, but my daughter called me today, lifeguard. I am trying to chase them off the beach and they don't budge. And I have somebody giving me dirty looks. She's 16, she's not an adult, waiting to see what I do to them. I said, just keep chasing them, clap, whatever it is. She's like, they're not moving.
And that's a separate issue that we as a town, we are dealing with.
Hiring dogs to chase them is $25,000. Rob went up to the township to see if they would split the cost.
Nothing.
They said no.
Wasn't there something you guys applied years ago, saying grapefruit, something that actually was working, I thought?
It didn't work the way it needed to. It's a problem. It's a problem. The lake, and that's a discussion for another day about the lake, but, we have a lot of issues over there. And we're trying to manage it the best we can, and, it's tough when we have a partner that doesn't necessarily want to work with us, so it leaves us with a lot on our plate to deal with.
Maybe we need to go to their meetings.
I did.
No, all
Myself-
like, people from.
They wouldn't
county
even
meetings.
dredge their part of the lake.
Myself, the mayor,
Yeah.
and the former Councilman Smith did go to their council.
Yeah, I mean, it was sad what I heard what they did with the swim team when they needed a place to swim. They didn't want you guys to swim with them. I thought it was disgusting.
Can I just circle back to the
It shows
question
that-
about the public
Yeah,
schools?
it's like really good children.
We have township people that can't swim at their facilities. Like, the only people that have a swim team is White Meadow Lake. There are township people that do not live in White Meadow Lake and cannot join that swim team. So we open our team for that.
Yep.
And they love our program. I fight for that program like it's my Navy. And
You do a good job.
thank you. Oh, we all do. It's Dee is co-director. She's head coach. These are all people that run programs, sports programs in the town, who had from little kids to grown kids that have gone through all these programs. Rob knows that I have had this argument with him forever. I'm a pushy person, but I do understand like both sides of it. I have also, I wanted, my kids went to the summer program for I think 3 years, and then it was shut down, and it was disappointing. My daughter wanted, the whole point was, I get to this age, I'm gonna be a camp counselor, I'm gonna be a lifeguard, and this and that. She's a lifeguard, great, you know, she likes it, you know, but it's not the same, you know? And it's not that we're sitting here not understanding what you want, because we all do.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately times have definitely changed.
And I feel like it's not
Make it a
bringing in
lot
any money,
harder.
though. Like, no one goes there. You used to get other families from other ends pay for the day. You don't even see that anymore.
Well, I think one of the reasons, and we talk about this a lot, I think one of the reasons is one of the effects, as soon as there was two things that made, I think, influence, even, and I've driven around in the summer to other lakes, there's nobody swimming at lakes anywhere. It's not just Rockaway Borough.
Yeah.
It's not. I've been to Indian Lake, there's nobody there. I've seen Bud Lake, so forth and so on. I think the two big factors that happened are this. I think once Frog Falls opened to the public, because when they first opened, they weren't open to the public.
That's true.
They were only, you could only be, you had to be a member. Now it's open to the public, so a lot of people go there.
So are other pools.
Right, and it's right.
Yeah.
A lot of people, other pools have opened. Second, COVID, what did everyone do? Everyone built pools.
Right.
Everybody built pools. Because that's all you could do, so everyone built pools. So now you have more people, especially in this town, that have pools that did not have pools years ago. That changed things. And the stigma around the lake doesn't help, you know? And that's why, and the girls get mad at me sometimes because I don't post about the lake. Why? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's all negative.
Right.
So it's doing me no good to post stuff about the lake when all you hear is negative. The lake stinks, the lake's dirty, the lake has geese poop in it, the lake,
Yeah.
that does nothing for us.
Can I ask a question? Could this be a solution? And I don't want everybody to like jump all
Sarah's
over
had
it.
her arm up for a while there, Wendy. Would you mind if
No,
Sarah
go
got a
right
little
ahead.
piece in? I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, I don't think this is gonna be done by next year. I think that we just need to start small and go from there. And even if we just do like building a community event, like, my friend lives in a lake in Ridgewood. They do, every Friday night, they do like a bring your own food. Like, I know there's space that we could eat dinner there. If we just
Potluck?
invite, yeah, like a potluck. You know, I thought about it. I know there was moms, we always used to go to White Meadow Lake to do it, and then I thought that maybe we could do it there. Oh, I would never swim in that lake. But I do know that there are families that would just come together, for a family night in the middle of the summer, because, you know, when you're home all day with the kids, and you're like, oh, I could go, we could use the grills, or everybody could bring a macaroni salad or something, and just to get our community together.
Yeah, and that's something absolutely we talk about.
Yeah, I think that would be like starting small, and, you know, we just.
100%.
Thing that they did last
Yes, so we're doing that again in September, yeah. So, but I think, and I'm on the HSA too, but this is like, I'm not talking for them, I'm talking about like every neighbor. Like, we have neighbors with kids that are. not
We've
even in
tried
high school.
posting things, like the library had the yoga on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Well,
last year.
Yeah, can we bring that back? I went to that. I like that.
It's through the library.
It was
They got a
Oh, they have it
grant,
this year?
cause I'm in the
Oh,
trustee
okay, this is
also, so.
So
I'll
yeah,
teach kickboxing, like I'm a fitness instructor and I teach fitness through Jefferson. And I begged and they said, no, finally, I have like 30 women that follow me every season. And,
The yoga on the beach was free.
Yeah.
no, I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not looking to be compensated right now, I'm just thinking, like, let's bring like health and community back.
We can put a thing on some of these buildings.
Wendy, go ahead.
Okay, you know what? If the lake is attracting all these geese and all these wildlife problems, why couldn't we put a pool in there to, cause if you put a pool in there, they don't like chlorine, they don't like any of that, you still keep that atmosphere with the beach and, you know, kind of with that community, I know a lot of people.
You get $45,000.
I think,
That's a big,
yeah, DEP,
Sounds
that would never happen, they would never,
that should be.
they would never let that happen.
First of all, what was your name, because you never said.
Oh, Rosalie,
Rosalie what, so we can.
Calienda.
Oh,
Calienda.
hi.
I
I'm
run
George.
George.
So, the geese. If you remove the geese, no matter how you remove them, the next flock that flies over will go, oh, look, it's a big empty space. And there's no land.
Yep.
So while they're all screaming and yelling over in Gladstone Peacock, kill all the geese, what are you gonna do? Keep killing them? The only way to stop is to addle the eggs, which I know you know.
Yep.
So you addle the eggs.
Which we're
Otherwise,
doing.
they're gonna
Which
fly
we do.
over and they're gonna go, look, they're all gone.
We do,
So that's not.
Here's the
every
thing,
year we add a egg.
here's the
Okay,
thing.
so the other problem is, and you want a pool,
Yes.
okay? The DEP will never allow you to fill that lake in, even though it's not a real lake,
No,
Mhm.
but it's still, they have jurisdiction on parcel.
Yes.
Because I think you should let it fill in, but the state won't let us.
Yep.
So you're never gonna put a pool there.
Yep.
I think it should go on, what's the other one?
Friendship Field.
Friendship Field.
Yes,
But that
I
being
agree.
said, forget about the geese, you're not gonna stop them, you're gonna either just keep addling them or just keep killing them, and that's not gonna work either. So, but otherwise, a pool, Friendship Field, I'd love to see Park Lakes fill in and have some nice volleyball courts and, you know,
A rec
some.
And how would you like me to?
A rec center?
A rec center, yeah, so. And then what happens to the swim team? You know, that's.
They swim in the pool.
Rob, I have a question.
Sure.
The 10 million you were talking about before, what was that again?
That's the total municipal budget.
So let me ask you this, and you said 48,000.
Yes,
That's not even 0.5%.
that's correct.
I mean, that's, like,
So why can't you get more?
that's what I'm trying to say, prioritizing itself. It's not even 0.5%. You know, that's a small kick right there.
To go to the town for that.
And then let me ask you this, what about now the badges for the pool? How many badges were sold?
70.
70, right? At how much?
It depends. Like, so seniors, anyone over 55 gets a free badge. Anyone under the age of 5.
So let me ask you this, so were you losing money there?
Are we losing money?
Yeah.
We're not. I don't. It does, one hand doesn't wash another. So we're not using lake badges to pay anybody. Like, that's not the purpose.
But you're paying for a lifeguard itself.
Correct.
You're paying for cleanup itself.
DPW's
Yeah.
doing the best they can. Right.
Another thing too, what she was saying before about an 8-year-old or whatever, 14 watching a 13. The Y. Our kids go to the Y itself.
Yep.
They have teenagers.
Yes. I'm not, you know.
But I can
I'm just saying.
guarantee they are,
And I'm just in construction, so I'm just saying what I see.
So I can speak directly to your point again, because I work in childcare. Anybody under 17, between 14 and 17 who can't have working papers can volunteer. They do not count in the ratios. They cannot be alone. They have to be with adults. So there's ratios that have to be followed. So if you have 12 4-year-olds in the room, you have to have one adult. So if that teen is in the room, it doesn't count. You still have to have an adult. Anybody 17 to 18, same thing applies. They can count a ratio, but they cannot be alone. Those teenagers are not, and if they are, you should probably speak to your director.
No.
So you're
Who I
saying
know,
that-
and I know the director of the Y, so I'm
So
sure
the
she's
Y
in
can-
compliance.
No.
She's in compliance. What I'm saying is it was different. If you have a 14-year-old in a preschool classroom or a 15-year-old in a preschool classroom, that's a 14-year-old with a 3-year-old, or a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old with an adult overseeing them. That's not how it was at the park. At the park program, they were taking, hypothetically, my daughter. Or, well, I mean, you know my daughter Gabby. She's the same age as your daughter. Gabby's 16. Here, Gabby, here's a group of 8 12-year-olds. Go, you're in charge. That's not safe. That's not feasible.
Oh, and might I add, Pokemon Go started while we
Oh,
were
Jesus.
at the lake. So we had kids wandering off looking for Pokemon.
We had cars driving on the walking path
Yeah.
during
Just
the
so you know, it wasn't an easy.
This was not that the rec department ended the summer 2016 and was like, we're
We
done.
just had
We don't
a
wanna
lot
do
of
it anymore. There was a lot of
negative
discussion in private session
Yeah.
regarding the
Yeah.
issues.
Did we do it with, kids from a certain age, keep it smaller, and then do 9 to 12.
But which hypothetically, yes, but you still have to follow these rules and regulations,
And let me-
regardless of how long it is.
And-
And you, the biggest issue, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
is the structure. We don't have a place to house these children.
And I think the struggle, so the 9 to 12, why ideal, I mean, you really need, it's gonna be hard to find people that wanna work 3 hours a day, but, you know, if you have adults, you know, maybe, you know, adults that are certified, that are able to do a job like this, they're not gonna want, they need more than 15 hours a week. I mean,
And
that's
they're
just.
gonna want more than minimum wage.
And they're not going to, you know, minimum wage is now $15 an hour. You know, I did actually what I did, and I couldn't bring it up on the
I
screen. But 2014, so I took the salaries, you know, there was a salary sheet from 2014, it was for 2 weeks. It was the actual salary sheet, I took all the names out, kept all the positions in there, like park counselor or something, and the minimum, the people, what we were paying in 2014 was like $7 here. I think the park director was making like $14 an hour or something like that. So that 2-week payroll was $5,000. It was about $5,300. So what I did was I put in today's money, very conservative, like probably too conservative because there's no way we're gonna get people for, you know, a nurse or whatever. So that number went from 5,300 to like 10,400, like that.
And just.
That's the biggest difference. That's inflation. That's what's happened in 10 years. That's how much, like our lifeguards are making $18, $19 an hour. If we don't pay them that much, they're not working here. I mean, this is where we're at. I mean, and minimum wage in New Jersey is, I think it's $15 an hour. And it's gonna go up again next year.
Let me ask you a question. All these other towns, even the small ones, what are they doing?
The towns are paying for that. The town, like I
Well,
said.
you would be charging these people, they would be not paying.
Yeah, but Rockaway Township, like I said, their municipal budget is $80,000.
Like, well, they're a very big town, what about Wharton? What about
Same
Wharton?
thing. You did work, just because they're giving it away for free, like you said. It has to be supplemented, these people have to make money, so the town is paying.
We are making a lot of money from cannabis right now, it's not doing.
That is, I don't know how that, I can't tell.
I will tell you, they do support a lot of our programs, just so you know. They're not coming in here and just making all their money. They have supported our programs. If we go in there and we ask, we are given a monetary donation towards our program. Kind
The
push.
dispensaries.
Yeah, but also paying, there's a percentage that they're paying to the town, you know that,
What's
right?
that? I understand that, but I just wanna let the community that's here know that these dispensaries are doing their due diligence with providing, if we
Meaning
want.
aside from what they're
Correct.
paying tax-wise, they're
Correct.
also helping
In
the
addition,
community.
they went to the
That's
food
fair.
pantry and
They
loaded the
just
food
$1,000.
pantry.
That's
Fine, but they were making good money with that right now, and it's
But
not
that, to
allocated for
Rob's
anything.
point, that's not Rob's
Yeah,
place to
that's-
say, you have
yeah,
to,
that's-
like, that goes through the town. You
Yeah,
don't
No,
get to
we'll
decide
go back
where
to the
it comes
town for
from.
that then.
Right.
That's
So,
something that doesn't
just,
go back.
go ahead, Katie.
I just make a recommendation then that this money is coming into the town. I attended the municipal budget meetings this year and there is additional money coming in. So I know you say that you have to keep it flat. I get it. I understand how budgets work. I've got a professional background. Ask for more money next year when you do budgets in February, March. See what they say, right? The mayor's sat right there. Like these people, if they want the camp, despite all the issues that you talked about, like they're very reasonable things. But if you want this to move forward or anything to happen, you're gonna have to go back to the town and you're gonna have to keep on them until February, March. People have to turn up to the budget meetings. I was one person sat here on my own asking them questions about the budget, me by myself, like on a Saturday morning. It was great. But I'm saying, like, if you don't have more money and this is what you get, try asking for more and see what happens. What they're going to do, tell you no, you've got to be flat, at least you ask. If you're not asking, because the money is there, they showed us how much is in surplus, how much unanticipated revenue they're getting, like, the money's there to be had next year, starting next year.
So,
We were at the town and they sent us to you, so you're saying go back to
I'm
the
not saying,
town.
No, we're not
I'm not
saying
saying
that.
We're not
We're
saying
gonna
that.
go back.
Katie said that.
So,
You didn't say that.
I know we make a lot of comparisons and we talked a lot. I just hope people realize too that Rockaway Borough, believe it or not, and people don't realize this, and even comparing ourselves to township or other municipalities, Wharton that we brought up, do you realize how many recreation facilities this small town has? More than Wharton, more than Rockaway Township. Rockaway Township has one playground that they just put in Peterson. One. We have 5. Our facilities from Centennial, Smith, Jackson Avenue, Park Lake, Donatoni, Friendship. We have a vast resources here for our children to be out there playing, whether it's sports or riding their bike, walking around the lake. It is, for a small town, we have a lot. And it's a lot to manage. It costs a lot to upkeep these places.
So you should ask for more money.
So,
Right? If
But
it's
who
not going
upkeeps
to
them?
There's a lot that goes
So
on.
who upkeeps them? It's the rec department or is it the town that already
It's
pays
the
the
town.
whole?
You can't say that it's
No,
the.
what's already in the budget for them to clean it down?
correct, but that's not the point I'm making.
Oh.
So, what I'm saying, this committee is, what we do is, a lot of our focus is on, believe it or not, we spend a lot of time in here, volunteers. So, we have about 200 volunteers that work underneath us. And what they have to go through, so we can no longer bring Jim that wants to coach their son to play soccer. Katie knows this firsthand.
We don't get chosen anymore.
It is, so a coach, in order to coach in this town, in any town, but we keep a very strict lock on it, you have to take a background check, number 1. You have your mandatory 3-hour class. Mandatory, it's called the Rucker certification. We are now
Been doing it
posting
for
here,
years.
thanks to Christina. Number 2, what's the third one?
Noon.
Safe Sport,
Yeah.
teaches about, how to recognize, abuse, if you see a child abused. These are all mandatory. Our volunteer parents in this town are taking, right now, all the time, every day. This is what we have to manage. And we have struggles. We have had parents that say, you know what, Rob, a parent is out there screaming. They're screaming on the soccer field. And I said, why don't you coach? Why don't you get involved? Wow, I gotta be honest with you, I can't pass a background check. You know how many times that happens? A lot. In this town. So our job is to make sure our kids are safe and the people who are coaching them are there with the right intentions, that have been properly background checked, and that, we're doing what we're supposed to. And I can promise you 100% that we are doing what we're supposed to.
Thank you for that.
And you're welcome.
Yeah, our children.
No one's saying that
my
you're
children.
not.
And we take pride in
So
that.
no one's saying that you're not.
No, I'm just,
Yeah.
for those who don't understand what we do,
Mm.
I'm just trying to explain, that's all I'm
Yeah.
trying to say, trying to explain that, what this committee spends time doing. The amount of time we're gonna put in, and again, we have to get to tonight, into spectacular. There are security and safety protocols on that thing that you would have no idea, you shouldn't know. You wouldn't see. But we spend hours and hours and hours putting that together.
Doesn't township work with you on that?
We
Or
do.
is it, we
We
do
do.
the whole?
They
environment?
piggyback, they allow us
And
to
they
use
take
their
the
Right,
credit
it's
side
credit,
of
we
it.
try to take.
They say
It's
they
fine.
do half of it.
It's fine. They can, but listen, here's the deal, this was the conversation when we first started. We, that was the big joke, bring township in. We need their quarter of their third of the rate to make a full
Probably
loop.
wouldn't donate it.
Otherwise, we'd have to stop the township, come around, stop the township, come around. That's the only
We didn't,
reason.
if they weren't involved in the spooktacular, you wouldn't be able to go all the way around.
Yeah,
That was
Wouldn't
an
just
issue
give you
our first-
permission to do that though, like they're.
probably
Petty?
not, probably not.
That's hard.
But, so that's what we're.
Parking.
They're not as cooperative as
Yeah.
you.
No, I know they're not.
And it's unfortunate.
So, I hope, and again, we'll keep working together, and we're always welcome to suggestions and to listen to the public, and we're here for our meetings, and, every single one of these people up here, it's out in the public, like, you can find any of us at any time, just about. We have program directors and everything else, so we're here for the kids. That's number one, 100% of our party is the kids. 100%, always and always will be. We make sure that we're doing what we need to do. And we look forward to introducing some new stuff coming forward. Someone mentioned Rockaway Day, so I'll touch on that before I move on. So Rockaway Day was run by business owners. Rockaway Day, once business owners kind of fell apart, that's when it stopped. So the last year, I want to say 2 years, last year, we did start to get involved. So basically, we took a street. Again, this wasn't rec running it, but we took Maple Avenue, and we were able to kind of do our thing up there. So we organized Maple Avenue. under the direction of the business owners, but we partnered with them in that way. They needed us. So
Do
we
you
made,
help them with like blocking off roads and stuff, or do they have to manage all of the
no, so what we,
permits and
Bonnie
everything?
might be able to speak on that, right, Bonnie?
I started it, but that was the first like 10 years. The ending I know nothing about. I kind of backed off a little bit because of time, so, and other things, so I can't help you with the end part, so I don't know.
Well, no, but maybe you can touch on how the.
Well, it was a
business
wonderful
run.
event. I mean, the business owners loved it, and it was a lot of work, but again, there was always the problem with volunteers. And, you know, a few do a lot of work, and, you know, but it was a great event. And when it expanded, it turned into a lot of nonprofits, recs, teams. I mean, it really spread, and it was nice. I mean, I miss it. It was a nice event.
so, yeah, so our purpose there is what, you know, we had rec style tents up there on Maple Avenue, and, you know, the business owners supplied a bounce house, so we manned that. We did popcorn, I believe, you know,
Different sports.
different sports, so we kind of did that part of it. Now, there has been talk, I know, in town about rec bringing it back, and we always laugh all the time, because everyone's like, well, when in doubt, ask rec, they'll figure it out, you know, like, so we are in discussions of how to do it, because we're gonna do something, we're gonna do it right, just like we do the Halloween thing. Like, we're not just gonna go out there and make it not good, we're gonna make it the best it can be. And we wanna make sure we have enough time. The problem for us is what we find every year, we're struggling when the Rockaway Day comes up, because it was typically September 15th, 16th. It's right before Halloween, so we're trying to prepare for Halloween. It's like we're trying to look at each other like, we figure this all out. So that's kind of our struggle right now. Not to say we won't continue working it. I hear business owners is now forming, you know, has a new group, someone mentioned to me, so hopefully they're getting more attraction and attention. And maybe they'll be able to bring up, and we'll supplement, we can help whatever you need, our volunteers.
But it doesn't have to be that way. It could be like the Rotary or something like that. Like I know they do the Touch a Truck event at Friendship Field and things like that. But it would it be like a third party organization, like a non-profit or something? Or are you talking about ideas for rec to run it? Like run the event, run the day?
We discussed taking it over, yes.
Okay.
But we're not there yet, but we have discussed that, yes. Yes, because people want it back, and I get it, I loved it, everybody loved it, you know, it was
The
a great
streets
day.
are closed and the kids can come and.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah,
train ride.
Train, there was
It's
horse
like the
ride,
Horse buggy.
yeah, it was a great day.
I have prime real estate where the road is.
And just so you know, so we will, and one of the items on our agenda, we will be at National Night Out, that's, is it next week already?
First.
First, so first Tuesday at Fireman's Field, we will be there, so if any of you wanna volunteer that night, please do, we'll be giving away some nice stuff. Anyone from the public, before I move on to our other business real quick, and feel free to stay, please.
I'm still going to digest everything,
Yeah.
I'm not done with this.
Absolutely.
All right?
Digest
I'm
it,
as
absolutely.
quiet, but it's bubbling inside. And then one other thing, and it used to happen a long time ago, another program that went through the wayside, I don't know if it was a program, but a couple times a year there would be a trip organized to go into Radio City or to see a show or something, and a family or anybody could sign up to go.
Mhm.
Would we bring that back maybe 2 or 3 times a year?
I don't know who,
I think it's a great idea.
I
It
don't.
might have been the Municipal Alliance.
It wasn't rec.
So Municipal Alliance also does a couple of
I
things.
don't
I
think it
used,
was Matt back then.
okay, was it
Johnny?
All right, that's the only thing I know, because I was involved with Mac for a little while and.
Yeah, I don't think that was Rev. I don't know who it was, I can see like.
Jackie Donalowski, I think, ran it, but I think it might have been due to that program. It was a while ago. But it was a good thing to do, you know, a good thing to offer a resident.
I'll see if I can find more information. Again, I don't know personally, but I can't speak on that.
Would you be open to it?
Yeah, I'm always open, I'm open to anything.
Okay.
So real quick for those, Christina wasn't here the last, I don't think you were able to make our last, or did you? So Challenger League, so we did have Challenger League, for those in the audience that don't know what Challenger League is. Christina, do you want to speak about that real quick? Just give a quick.
Sure, so, that was kind of defunct for a little while, we kept trying to bring it back, so this year we pulled it off. We had, it was a beautiful day, and they were so grateful that we were able to pull it off, and we got Rob involved, and Mildred was there, her family, so it was a wonderful day at Donatoni. We
You wanna
used to do it
explain
at.
real quick what Challenger is?
So Challenger League is the league for children with disabilities of all shapes and sizes, wheelchairs, nonverbal, you know, you name it, children with Down syndrome, but it's us helping them, we're their buddies, and they get to play, and we get to run around the bases with them, and they get to hit the ball, and it's just such a way to give back. So I'm hoping that next year, I hope that enough word got out there, because there were coaches that were there that always wanted to do it and never did it, and they're so happy that they did. So, you know, our mayor stopped by, Mayor Morgan, you stopped over that day. So, you know, he popped in to check it out, make sure, you know, everybody was good and comfortable. So I hope that next year is an even better turnout. It was at Donatoni, it used to be at Thomas Jefferson School, but I think Donatoni was a better fit this year. It was at the first weekend in June. Yeah, we can't play if it rains. It's rained every year when we've tried to do it. So we give out hot dogs and we just have a great time. And the kids love us and we love them, so.
Just a suggestion on that, usually, a lot of times they have the high school teams, they ask, because my son used to be on the football team and.
I get it,
You know,
and that's my
it was-
fault. This year, I'm not gonna lie, you know, I have a kid in high school who plays sports and, you know, I wear many different hats in this town, so it's kind of my fault that I didn't get it out there, but I'll be honest, I was kind of Debbie Downer about it because every year we've
Right.
prepared and it's not happened, so I kind of dropped the ball on getting the high school, but I am involved with the high school kids, and I did put out information to the high school kids, and a lot of these kids play on tournaments, different teams, lacrosse, softball, baseball, they're gone. So a lot of those things have changed. Your son might have played on that team, but I guarantee you, it's different now.
No, we had Joey 2 years, Joey graduated 2
Yeah,
years. so his
Joey,
soccer
Emily,
team
and Dylan went to school together, yeah.
At Morris Knolls, and the coach said, we want everybody, and they went to, the park near Andrew, near Birchwood.
But a lot of kids play, so what used to happen was you could play, things have changed. There's now what's called a summer league. The kids aren't allowed to play travel sports while they're in high school. So now they have to wait. As soon as they're done with their high school sport, they go right into the summer. So they're gone. My daughter was one of them. She didn't have a tournament that weekend, but there are kids that are, trust me, I will do better next year. But I did put it out there. No, it is, and we did reach out to the athletic director.
I will say, though, it was a great turnout.
Yeah, we had a lot of
I was-
kids.
Christina is currently the president of Little League. I was on the board for many years when we were doing Challenger League more often. Christina did a great job. We had a great turnout. The kids were so happy. They come up to get their food at the end. I was in the snack stand rolling out. I couldn't tell you how many hot dogs I cooked. I don't wanna see another hot dog for a while. How was your game? I hit a home run. That little girl helped me. I mean, it's just a great day. So we did have a great amount of volunteers. And like she said, you know, our daughters were on the softball team, so it was put out to the teams, but the coaches can't make things like that mandatory, unfortunately. And even if a high school coach tells you it's mandatory, it actually can't be.
Yeah. But no,
It
you're
was a
right,
great night.
Wendy.
You did a great job.
It would be great to have, you know, but I would also like to see the younger kids. So I'll do a better job next year at getting it out there. So hopefully we'll keep that ball rolling. That's a ball that started back up again and hopefully we'll keep it rolling. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
Thank you
It was a great event.
for. Up next, basketball order update. John, you want to touch on this in our meeting we met here?
Yeah, so, my name is John Bryant. I run the basketball Borough Ball League. My son actually just graduated, so we're looking for another person to take over the league for next season. So we had a meeting here about a month and a half to gain some interest for folks who wanted to potentially take over the league and go that way. So we're looking to set up, and like I said, a whole new board. Last year I think we were at like 10% with registration numbers, so the numbers are there, and it's growing. It's a growing program, so we hope to have a lot of younger folks and people that have younger kids in the program to continue to build it up. I'll stick around and help out as much as I can, but there's going to be a new director and board coming in for next season. So more to come on that.
And I think it was a positive meeting, right? Like, we got all
Yes.
everyone together and everyone sat there and they were ready, you know, I told John, cause he was struggling to find people to fill those, but I said, let's get everyone in a room, let's see what we can hash out, and there people stood up and
Right.
volunteered, you know, they care about that program. It's a great winter program we had, and I thank John for all those years that you put in.
No problem, no problem.
I touched on it a little bit before, National Night Out. Do you guys know, does anyone know if you're gonna be around to help out a little? Dee, thank you. Anybody?
It's not
What
gonna
day
be
is it?
around. It's the first
It's-
two, I think it's
August
not
sixth.
next
August
Tuesday,
sixth.
two Tuesdays from today.
I believe I put it in my calendar, so.
Yeah, not next
Like
Tuesday,
we talked
Tuesday
about, my
after.
schedule's a little
That's
all over the place, so I'm
We're
not
good.
sure, but if I'm in the area, I will be.
Appreciate it. It's the same, kind of go with the same theme. I have some glasses left over from last year, which I can hand it. And I got beach towels this year that say Rockaway Borough Recreation Rocks and Sling Packs, so we'll be giving some of those away. So I'm excited about that. My new business, real quick, I touched on it before, recent damages at Donatoni. A car backed into that shed that's been there for about 10 years, so I did replace that shed. We have a new shed there now. Also, yeah, it's up, yeah. What's that? It was probably, it was, yeah. And then, also secondly, that same day or the same week, we had a storm and a huge tree came down in the backfield fence that's at Donatoni as well, in the softball field. So DPW was able to at least get that tree out of the way, and we'll have to address the fence coming forward. Dee's favorite subject, because, Hetty hockey rink. So, good news is that I did meet with, a contractor, that specializes in sports facilities about 3 weeks ago. I gave him your wish list, and he's gonna get back to me with a quote. So my plan is this: we do have some money to be able to do work there. What is happening currently to prepare for the eventual remake or remodel of that area is we were cited. So if you go in, if you're walking into the rink, you notice the sidewalk is coming up. All right. So first thing we do, we have to remove that tree because it's the roots that's actually pushing that up. So we're removing that tree. We're doing some tree trimming also around the lights because now the trees are covering the lights. The lights don't work anymore. So that's the first part. Second part would be to try and get hockey boards to make it an oval and make the rink really nice. So if my plan is if if numbers come in really high, this is something I think I could go for the grant the same one I did for the lake, is because if we have monies we're able to put towards that, they like seeing that, and this is a project which can accompany a couple things. So you're making the lacrosse people happy, you're making the hockey people happy, and then we can also ice it in the winter, so we can have ice skating in the winter for the kids.
And then we can take the
So
orange out.
it's accomplishing a lot of things, and also hopefully, the soccer people too, they love playing in there. So that's the latest on that. Fall sports again, everybody's up and running. I know junior nights is probably getting started soon, right? And Dom has been great. I think he's still running. I hope he is.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, great
We're gonna
guy.
put it on, Wednesday, tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
We're gonna end up.
So I look forward to working with them. Of course, soccer registration is open now. Little League, are you doing anything for the fall?
I have to communicate with my board members and
Alright.
see, because every year, yeah, we want to, and then come fall,
Everyone's like, no.
soccer!
Just let me know because there is some issues.
I understand, yes.
All right, so, and what we're doing right now is we're letting some of the fields kind of rest. We're growing the grass a little higher, because we have some serious bare spots at some of the fields, so we're trying to kind of keep people from playing and actually, out there with the cleats on. Park Lake updates. I don't remember because we talked about so much tonight. My brain is starting to go into a circle. We did with the heat, with the heat we had for those few days. We had some scary moments. We had some stuff coming up through the lake that we weren't sure what was going on.
Never seen it.
So we were able to contact our lake management company, and they assured us it's a matter of, you know, some decay, some algae decay coming up from the bottom. It was harmless, which was good. It's a good thing. But we have to keep an eye out, you know, and that's everyone's job, you know, for the next couple of weeks is heat and lake. Those two things are a dangerous combination. So we have to keep an eye out. It's our job to, you know, they'll still come out and monitor like they have every month, but we gotta keep an eye out for anything irregular. Believe it or not, testing, we've gotten lucky. The reason is, you know, the rain, so the rain, we haven't had the rain we usually have, so that's helped. So we'll see on, what's today too, we'll see on Thursday to see how this testing goes tomorrow. Yeah, and then that's the other struggle, there's no rain and there's no wind, there's no moving water, it keeps everything stagnant, so it's been tough, but the kids are doing a great job, and for those who don't know, everybody who works at the lake, for the audience members, every single child that works at the lake is a Rockaway Borough child, so it's great to see that we're able to give back to them, and you know, they're working in town, you know, fortunately we don't have tons of jobs, but to find lifeguards, we are so fortunate, and I thank these daughters of these kids, you know, these parents that stepped up and became lifeguards, because no
And
other,
they
no one
pay
could
for their own lifeguarding, by the way, which is
Yes.
not cheap.
I have to tell you, though,
The town did not pay for their lifeguard certification. Yeah.
But it's, our town is lucky, we are very lucky and fortunate, because I can tell you right now, every other town is struggling to find lifeguards, everywhere. It's the beach, there's beaches that are closing because they can't find lifeguards. We are fortunate enough, you know, this year to have a great staff, great people, and people you all know that, you know, I'm sure you know their
I
names.
will tell you that, she's not gonna tell you, she'll probably kill me that I'm saying this, but when my daughter got out of the pool after she got certified, she got pulled aside and offered
Yeah,
a
she
job
told
on
me.
the spot, and she
Yeah.
turned it down. She said, no, I'm working in my town.
Yep,
And she could have made a lot more money and been in stores and
yep,
not at the lake and
she told me.
helping girls who fly off the swing her first day of work.
She did, she made her
But
first
she
rescue.
grew up at that lake. She grew up in the, she's 20 now, but she grew up going to the summer program. And she said, no, thank you, maybe in September.
She's doing a great job, they all are, and I
We
appreciate
wanted to come and speak.
Yeah, they probably all would have been there.
Yeah,
Like
they
them.
really,
They
the
all
girls
wanted to come out
were
and
like,
speak.
we'll come.
With that being said, we'll go to committee member reports. John Bryan, do you have anything, sir?
Nothing other than basketball.
Okay. Received. Christina?
So, the Challenger League, you talked about that, the senior girls in the area the district went to the senior all-stars, they came in second place for the state, for Little League All-Stars, which is awesome. That's it. Fall, hopefully we'll at least be able to do T-ball. It all depends on what these other kids wanna do, if they wanna play, if we have the volunteers to help with the coaching. There's a lot more involved than I have to get. I realized that today that July is done next week, and I can't wrap my head around that. But anyway, that's it for that, for Little League. I think that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Danielle?
Package deal. Last night was our last.
So I don't have to ask you then?
Last night was our last home meeting, and our last regular season.
Yes. Yep.
Those parents complained nonstop about these.
Yes, I know.
They were not happy. The one was yelling at me that I should be shaking myself.
I know.
It was very
It's tough.
She told me I should be ashamed of myself that I expect people to sit in geese poop. And I was like, I can't control the geese. And the mud. Like,
Where's
can't
the geese
control the
tender?
weather.
The goose tender.
It's tough. It's tough.
I have a list. We're done. We practice this week in lakes that I'm working with.
And there's one night you guys don't have practice this week, right? Thursday?
Yes.
And then tomorrow you still have practice and the dinner's afterward?
No, we moved it to Friday because it's supposed to be cold tomorrow.
So no practice tomorrow?
Oh, yeah,
It
no.
depends on the weather.
We moved
Alright, just let me know
probably
so I
just
can
in
let you
case, but
know. Alright. Chris, you got anything?
Just a thank you to these two for an awesome swimming season, you know, meeting all his friends last.
It's awesome.
Thank you, Rob, too, for the patch job on the playground. job stitching that back together.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Kim? Rosalie?
You wanna go to
No, go ahead.
Like Dee said, Monday was our last home meet. Surprisingly, we didn't have to, forfeit any of the meets because we worked it out. Even with rescheduling, we weren't the only ones in the league that had to reschedule their meets. I know somebody had to forfeit.
We
so-
only had one reschedule, right?
Two.
Oh, right.
Um, The kids are happy. The only thing that I wanted to suggest, and I only thought about this like yesterday or something, based on like the rain and the mud. I know you're doing the paths. If there's a way that you can extend the path in that area where we do like the
Yeah,
clarking.
we're trying to.
Cause obviously with the weather and you know whatever, somehow, which had never happened before, it gets really muddy and I know some of us slipped. Yeah, we slipped because
You talking about where the tree is?
yeah, that area, but also with in the winter when we've had those bad storms and the water has really gone up, it has really eroded some parts where from the other side
Yeah.
that it's hanging on by like a thread.
From the
And-
back to the fencing.
Yeah, on the far side. Yeah, and even where the other one is, that has that little cement pad,
Mm-hmm.
like even the mud has gotten like weird before that, so,
Okay, got it.
you know.
I wonder if there's like a portable type of decking that we can put down for the swim season and pull up.
I mean, the ramp that goes to the deck can be pulled up and put over, but that still
No, but I'm
doesn't do
saying like
anything
this in
when the
general,
water
like
goes
the
up.
grassy, because of the goose poop, obviously it might be
It
easier
was
to.
really bad last
I know,
night.
but like cleaning it off of a decking material would be easier than trying to
Yeah,
clean
I know
up
what
the
you're
mud,
saying.
you know, like not a permanent structure, but like,
Somebody else want me to do a little bit.
I know.
Yeah, the problem is that there's a slope, it's not like
Yeah.
a slight slope, there's a
Yeah.
slope and
I
that
thought
causes
right
an issue.
everything just goes.
And then the DEP
Yeah.
will probably say something,
Yeah.
can't even put rocks, just so,
I'll take a closer look at that.
Maybe the DEP.
Maybe it's temporary, you know, you just.
Yeah, well, the DEP might be able, if, you know, there should be a solution to a problem.
if it's like.
Environmentally
like-
safe, they should be able to help us with a problem like that.
It's a temporary structure.
Because if it's doing that, that means it's getting into the lake, which is,
And then people were sliding all over the place on the bus.
Yeah, and also
I
have
can't
like
weird
a say on
thing,
this.
it's humid.
Alright, I will take a look at that.
But
Rosalie.
also, my also thing is like when they come and cut the grass, like I had that the fake
Yes.
grass. I have to make it shorter, like this year's is shorter where it's just meets the fence because they will come with the machine and then it gets stuck.
Right.
Or it, you know, I can't be putting it out and taking it like every single time, you know, the kids have practices and things like that.
We might be able to, we have rolling turf that we keep in the shed, like you might unfortunately have to do like a roll-up turf and wheel it back to the shed every time. That might be a solution to this.
We'll see what I can figure out. I mean, obviously we're at the end of the season now, but it's something definitely we gotta.
Oh, and definitely get that pole check. Yeah. I think it's gonna get worse in the winter, because I think every winter, when the weather gets bad and we have those big storms, it keeps coming up.
Yeah. All right, thank you for both you, great season so far, still got a week and a half, so I don't want to jinx anything, but thank you.
We still got 2 more weeks.
Everyone stayed safe, that's
Yeah.
the most important thing. Mildred?
I do not. Gabby is now aged out of every possible program she could play in, so I just had that work it.
You're still here, thank you.
I'm still here.
Councilman
Very
Tom?
good, happy more years.
Yeah, just a couple updates and some notes. Just like you guys, I've been, I started on the rec committee, Little League, so, over 15 years, I was involved with a lot of community projects. I think most of them that I did with the Lincoln Playground. So a lot of volunteering. I started getting on the rec committee now, I'm on the council, very involved. I did see that, just like you guys, we appreciate, you probably the best volunteer group that we have, and I know there's a lot of volunteers under you, so first of all, thank you for that. And I know that, I just saw in notes that Rob stepped down for Rowdies. Rob's also wearing several hats, and just wanted to thank him for the 10 years of the Rowdy service that you're doing. And you
Where's Rob's plaque?
well, I made that note, I'm working on that.
TBD.
But just, thank you, and I know you probably don't see, but he wears more than hats of the Parks and Rec, he does a lot of stuff in town, so I will just thank you for that. A couple things that came up, I know at the last council meeting, Councilwoman Burnside, President Burnside, brought up that, about, maybe having some type of picnic for volunteers, and I'm just thinking about this more and more, so maybe besides volunteers, maybe around family, could be some type of something we do for all the volunteers, especially you guys and all the volunteers, firemen, everybody, to somehow maybe put something in place maybe for August, September, we could maybe bring that as the first community event, thanking our volunteers, as well as getting the first event going. Took a lot of notes, just like anything, that all the stuff we did involves a project plan. So I took a lot of notes here. The big thing I heard is financials, there's regulations, and also facility usage. So like anything really needs a project plan. We need to figure out, eventually whatever it's going to be, if there's going to be a new building or whatever that needs to be developed and come, fruition to the town to look at from that perspective. So I took a lot of notes, and I just realized that, I think you guys know, but I think starting somewhere is good. So maybe with the picnic, I do agree. I remember the community events, we used to have a couple trips. I know that right now we do a couple trips for the seniors right now, right, a year. They still have those trips. They go someplace.
They organize that on their own.
They do that on their own. So I do agree with that. So we do probably need to bring some community events, either Celebrate Rockaway or something. We could start small this year. But again, everything takes planning. So these are all great ideas that came forth. Again, we have to put project plans, and then from there, you guys know at one time we used to have the CAT Community Action Team. So teams put plans together. If the town can't find resources money-wise to it, then we had organizations figure out. They would go out, just like when we did the Lincoln Field, I went out to Home Depot, I went to Scott's. I got money and volunteers involved at no cost to the town. So stuff like that definitely takes planning. So that's all I'm going to say. So I think that we have some great ideas, and we just got to bring them forth and see how we can do it.
Thanks, Councilman.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Steve? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.